Hello, dear friends. The good one chooses to do is less good than the evil one chooses not to do. Opinion piece. Acceleration. Fast pace. Implant release. End of madness. Ascension speed. Winds of change. Physical biochips. Reality generators. Accelerated rhythm. Everything is possible. Underground structures. Let's start. Everything in the world moves at an accelerated pace, and that rapid pace intensifies the best and worst characteristics of human beings. This is why society is still plagued by polarization, extremist ideologies, violent uprisings, and rampant crime. The inner strength of the volunteers is sending light to mitigate these events and help bring the dawn of the Golden Age closer, according to Matthew through his mother Susan Ward. According to Cobra, the forces of light have asked people to avoid speculation and waiting for the event. The event will happen when it must, and they are advised to fulfill their mission in a way that brings them upliftment, energy, and inspiration. The forces of light have asked Cobra not to publish any future dates, as it would only lead to speculation and possible disappointment. Much of the plan for direct physical intervention must remain classified and will only be revealed when and as much as possible. The only way to understand the delay in direct physical intervention would be a metaphysical cleansing before the physical cleansing. The forces of light are focusing on healing all remaining astral health in the lower astral and etheric planes, within a 30-meter layer of the planetary surface. When this has been cleared, angelic beings will begin to inhabit that layer as well. Definition. The event is a global transformation that involves a radical shift in the collective consciousness and the external reality of the world. This event is expected to be a turning point leading to a massive awakening, spiritual evolution, and a change in humanity's power structure and way of life. This is described as an era of light, harmony, and conscious connection that will free the planet from conflict, inequalities, and oppressive systems, ushering in a new reality filled with peace, well-being, and coherence. It is credited with not only social and political effects, but also energetic, vibrational, and psychic effects that may include expanding consciousness and facilitating planetary ascension. End of madness. According to Cryon, humanity's awakening will continue, and there will be solutions and good things. The change is a temporary transformation, a concession, and a dimension shift. There won't be an abrupt energy shift in 5 years, but rather a gradual sense of a different energy. By the end of 2030, expect some stabilization. Transformation. According to Matthew, small souls awaken, ascending frequencies are heralding winds of change. The number of missionaries of light continues to increase, and global transformation is advancing steadily. The speed of Earth's journey toward its destiny in the higher fifth density is unprecedented in this universe. The third density civilizations that rejected Gaia's requested help spent thousands upon thousands of years achieving what Earth's civilization will accomplish in just a century and a quarter. Our contribution to this unique triumph is immeasurable. This monumental initiative, which began some 80 years ago with a massive influx of light from highly evolved civilizations and the first wave of volunteers, went unnoticed at the time. It is now undeniable that dynamic changes are taking place throughout the world. Not only do individuals benefit from the high frequency that downloads the DNA coding, but this also occurs in the animal, plant, and mineral kingdoms. The energy of people's thoughts and feelings forms the collective consciousness, and it is it that produces everything in the world. The companion of the collective consciousness, the Earth's potential energy field, reflects the totality of the planet's energetic activity. Therefore, as above, so below. When an unintentional action causes harm, darkness is not incurred, but those who deliberately cause harm are motivated by their inner darkness, which leads them to act accordingly. These people receive a karmic lesson that must be compensated by experiencing the same type of harm they voluntarily caused in a subsequent physical life. The gift of free will from the Creator allows you to choose what to do, and then universal laws take over control. Implants. The implants have already been cleared ahead of schedule, according to the corporate contactee. Only the physical biochips of the population are missing. Without the implants, the forces of light are virtually free from the influence of the lurkers and have a clearer perspective of the process of planetary liberation. With the disappearance of the traitors from Planet X, their main objective from now on is to cleanse the planet's surface and achieve final liberation. The resistance of the Pleiadians, Andromedans, Arcturians, Aldebarans, and other races have built a network of interconnected underground bases whose primary purpose is the liberation of surface. They are connected by high-speed trains similar to dark side technology. After the event, certain missionaries of light will have access to a small part of this network. The Ascension Mystery School has been reactivated in Agartha under the guidance of Ashtar. The western branch of this school, under the guidance of Saint Germain, will begin to influence Western occult and esoteric groups toward the true teachings of Ascension. Meanwhile, the Insta branch within the Blue Dragon network of Agartha, under the guidance of Lao Tzu, will inspire Surface Taoist groups and individuals toward the true teachings of Taoist inner alchemy. This mystery school has suggested that the population begin using the emerald flame in the same way they already use the violet flame. The emerald flame is very effective in eliminating anomalies and lurkers, and you can use it to protect your home. Biochips. One of the main current problems is physical biochips. A biochip is a microchip that contains biological material, such as proteins and nucleic acids. These are small pieces of semiconductor material containing multiple integrated circuits that perform many functions in electronic devices. These devices are quite powerful and distort a part of the human personality. The forces of light are eliminating them, but the process will take longer than October 10th. These devices were developed by Siemens during World War II in Germany concentration camps, and began to be distributed to humanity through antigen programs in the late 1940s and were fully implemented by the 1970s. A much more robust version of biochips in plural, was implemented beginning in 1996 and in the 2010s. The resistance finally succeeded in preventing the cabal from continuing to use them. These biochips are located in the frontal lobe of the brain, where they create a disconnection between the soul and the brain, and also below the navel, where they suppress and control emotions and Kundalini energy. They are psychic devices infested with lurkers, intertwined with dark energy anomalies about 30 micrometers in diameter. They create a spherical scalar dark field with a radius of 30 meters. They directly influence the two lower subplanes of the etheric plane and the 30-meter surface layer, maintaining the anomaly there. Indirectly, they also influence the rest of the etheric plane, as well as the astral and mental planes of that layer. This is now one of the main reasons for the despair experienced by the surface population. Generators. The second problem is the so-called reality generators. They are mechanisms or processes through which a perception of reality is created. From a technological perspective, they are systems that generate virtual environments or simulated realities, in which the user has the sensation of being immersed, as occurs with virtual reality or augmented reality. There are enormous scalar devices that create a low-frequency reality. These waves are not conventional electromagnetic waves, but rather a type of energy that can operate in a scalar field, capable of passing through solid objects without losing intensity, and that can influence fields and frequencies at a molecular or even biological level. These scalar devices are described as generators that emit fields that can modulate specific frequencies, thus creating a kind of low-frequency reality or environment that propagates in the environment. They are used to influence health, affect DNA, or create specific conditions at the energetic level. When the quarantine was created, a network of reality generators was built deep within the Earth's crust 26,000 years ago. Another network was created very close to the surface in 1996, with reality generators imported from Orion. The old Atlanta network is almost clear, but the 1996 surface network is a bigger problem, as most of these devices are located in secret military bases and installations. We must understand that both the forces of light and the forces of darkness have similar technology. In the field of nanotechnology, the Cabal has reached a level of development almost equal to that of the forces of light in the last decade. They have managed to partially neutralize stardust technology and infected a large portion of the population with graphene nanochips that block the part of the brain responsible for empathy in a massive Illuminati ritual that took place between 2020 and 2022. Underground structures. The dark forces also managed to map a large number of underground resistance structures in a massive nanobot mapping attack in September, and the resistance was forced to remodel the structure of its underground bases. This problem has been solved. They can no longer penetrate underground in large numbers. Now, the resistance is eliminating active nanobots from the surface and the side effects of nanotechnology on antigens. The forces of light are winning the war against nanotechnology. Significant success have been achieved in eliminating the white hat infiltration from the surface, and some groups are once again operational and taking action. The forces of light have already begun physical intervention on the surface, starting to remove directed energy weapons and other technologies. The elimination of these weapons is occurring in a non-linear fashion, and some missionaries of light are already experiencing relief, while others are still under attack. The forces of light has also begun to extract certain low-level members of the Cabal, replacing them with soulless clones who will further the plan of planetary liberation and detect it within the Cabal's ranks. At the end of the Kali Yuga, the outcasts of the Egyptian mystery schools are exposed. They can run, but they cannot hide. Everything is possible. It is possible to use the incoming energy to ascend. This includes ascension of the physical body. This would be very difficult due to the damage done by the dark forces, but some might be able to do so now. Most of those who want to leave Earth are focused on extraction, and this might be their best option. One way to better access the Ascension energy is to focus on recovering the memories of having once ascended, as everyone once was. The Ascended Masters could also be hosts for transformation. It is key to transcend duality to connect with a good that requires no opposites. It is also key to bring light into the physical world and love it. After all, the physical world itself is ascending. Fulford summary. According to Benjamin Fulford, von der Leyen's days are numbered. Romanian MEP Diana Sosoaca states, in quotes, Ursula von der Leyen said she would put me in jail, but I can't keep quiet. I am a lawyer. I love God. I trust in God. And they are Satan. Slovak MEP Milan Uric demands that von der Leyen be put on trial, stating, in quotes, they have destroyed Europe, and we are one step away from total collapse. Trump's UN speech ranted against illegal immigration. The Green Agenda spoke of 300,000 missing children and promised to work with all nations to build a better world. Colombian President Gustavo Petro responded to the speech by taking to the streets of New York on Friday at a pro-Palestinian demonstration. China also appears to be finally preparing to take action against Israel as part of an international coalition that includes Turkey, Russia, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. China has bided its time until it has achieved overwhelming military superiority. That moment has arrived. Observers were astonished by the Chinese military equipment on display for the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. The Chinese Information Warfare Group, which included vehicle units responsible for communications jamming, electronic warfare, and cyber warfare, was striking. Also revealing was China's missile technology. China can now completely overwhelm US defenses with a simultaneous attack using subsonic, supersonic, and hypersonic missiles. Of course, the Chinese have no intention of using such equipment unless forced to do so. Instead, they demand that Western white hats handle their own cleanup. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.